Good evening, good people. This is Sugar.Pounds coming at you one more time. This is June 30th, 2020. A nice, lovely Wednesday evening in Texas. I would have been back to you a lot sooner. Excuse me. But I had a phone call. Yeah, you can hear all of the helicopters, all of the bugs. I'm outside. I like it out here. But I received a phone call from my nephew. And he stopped me from getting back on here. A lot of people don't know I have a nephew who's actually been locked up for quite some time. I want to say it's been about 12 years. About 12 years. What is this? No, this is 2021. My nephew went to prison about 14 years ago. It's been about 14 years. About 14 years. A long time, I tell you that. It's been a long time. A very long time, because he went when he was only about 18, 19 years old. He was literally still a teenager. So, all of his adult life, he has been in prison. Yeah. It's good hearing from him. You know, when... I'ma be honest. This is an honest podcast. Fuck the dumb shit. Hey, it's honest. You know what? It's all good when they not asking you for anything. Sometimes it becomes too much. It becomes too much. It becomes like a bill collector calling you. You know, always want. You know? Hey. It becomes too much. And it's not even just, you know, those of our loved ones who are locked up. It's our loved ones, period. You know, always being around people who always need something and don't take the time to check and see, what do you need? Can I just call and check on you sometime? Why we always gotta be the ones who check on everybody? Why we always gotta be the ones who... Do you got it? Yeah, we always got it. You know we always got it. That's why you always calling us. At what point do you stop and check on the people who are the strongest amongst you? The ones who always got it. The ones who always seem to have it together. Because, let me tell you something. We don't always got it together. Especially not mentally. And sometimes not spiritually either. Sometimes we just want people to say, hey, how you doing? What's up? You know, I know I can't do you like you do me. But, hey, I just wanted to come by and say, hey, let me smoke something with you. Let me take you out to lunch. Let me buy you a drink, something. You know? At what point do you do that? But he didn't ask me for anything. So I was very, very, very thankful about that. You know, he didn't ask for anything. It was a very good conversation. In fact, at some point, he will be calling me back to share some of his poetry with me so that I can share it with you guys. He actually is a very good writer. And I say that in all honesty. You know, he comes from a place that's raw. He comes from a place that, I mean, he been in prison for like, I just told you guys, like the last 14 years. It might be 15 at this point. I can't remember, but I'm telling you, a long damn time. So, he has some great poetry. I give it to him. So I will be sharing that with you. He was like, you'll do that for me, auntie? I was like, heck yeah. Of course. He was like, man, that's what's popping. You know, and he's been fighting a portion of his conviction, you know, for some time. They gave him a lot of time. I want to say they originally... And I'm scratching my head. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. But they originally gave him, I want to say something like 32 years. Something of that nature. I'm going to have to go look at it again. It's been a long time since I looked it up. But, you know, there's a key component of his conviction that he says never happened. It was not like that. You know, it was self-defense. You know, what happened, but it was, you know, never intentional. But, you know, when you got some little heartless charge partners, you know, quick to make a deal, hey, it is what it is. You know, he's like, I'm a G, I ain't gonna snitch, I'm a G. But they snitched on him. They sang in the key of G. He did it. It was his idea. And he up there, well, I ain't snitching. I ain't gonna say nothing. Hey, I'm not gonna lie though. Look here. My thing is, why y'all keep anything? Why y'all keep anything at all? Any of y'all, whichever one of y'all, whether you were with them, whether you were not, why would you even hang with anybody who would keep anything that they committed anything with? Whether you did or didn't. Because I know prisons are full of a lot of people that didn't do what they have been accused of. And I tend to agree with that statement because I know a lot of people that are locked up for a lot of things they didn't do. At least not to the extent that they have been locked up. Yeah, we need prison reform. Again, piggybacking off of my last podcast. Right and wrong. It is right, it is wrong. Why is the prison system as it is? Let's be honest. Why is the prison system as it is? Let's be honest. Because it's written into the Constitution that is how they can keep their slaves, as a form of punishment in the penal system. And it continues on to this day. There, I said it. The 13th Amendment did away with slavery. Except for it didn't, right? Except for it didn't, right? Because, again, let's say it together. Slavery is abolished except for as a punishment. So how do we punish people? We put people in prison. How do we harvest that slave labor? We make them work fields. We make them work print. What did they used to do? They used to print. I live on a military base. Just a moment. I really don't need sound effects. I have enough sound effects around me, right? I don't even remember what I was saying. I really, really don't. So, you know what I'm going to do? Let's spark up. I don't remember where I was. I really have no idea. So, we're just going to go forward with, another thing that I believe in. I believe in prison reform. Oh, that's what I was talking about. Prison reform. And how they harvest slave labor in the prisons. I was trying to say that they were stamping out tags, license tags at one point. But whatever they do it for pennies on the dollar. Like when they work in the galley, the kitchen, they making just a few cents on the dollar. And they working hours on end. I had a friend who was locked up and he trained the freaking dogs. He was a dog trainer in there, but he was making like 15 cents an hour. And guess how old he was when he got locked up? 19. Guess how old my nephew was when he got locked up? 18, 19. Come on. They get in these guys when they are in their prime. Keeping them 20, 30 years. Use them up. Spit them out. And then they've been acclimated to that system. A lot of them, they go in 18, 19 years old. They come out 18, 19 years old. They just aged 20, 30 years, however long their sentence was. A lot of them can't deal with society. They feel left behind. And they wind up going back. Because, of course, our prison systems are not meant to reform or rehab. No. Because the intent is to harvest slave labor. I said it. I accept all the flack. But argue with me. You can't. The forefathers of this country, if that's what you want to call them, were very descriptive in their intent. They literally described everything. They wrote it down and left it for us to read for ourselves. Their intent for this country from its inception to today. All you got to do is read. That's it. It's not hidden. We're not making it up. It's right there in front of our faces. Right there in front of our faces. 13th Amendment abolished slavery. Yeah, except for it didn't. So, if my nephew had called me back already, I would be ready to play you one of his poems. But I won't. Because he didn't. And if I had thought about it, I would have one of my poems ready. Because I have one that's called The Phone Call. And I cannot recall it, but it is about those phone calls that you receive from jail. Those phone calls you receive from prison that are always never long enough. They're always too short. They always have issues you can never hear. They bridge the gap somewhat, but not really. And this right here has been the sweet spot with Sugar.Pounds.